This episode is brought to you by Shipt. Hey, everyone. Our podcast, IMO, has officially reached its first anniversary. And this past year has been filled with so much fun and so many special moments, from heart-to-hearts with Taraji P. Henson to the complexities of parent-child relationships with Bruce Springsteen, hilarious sibling stories with Damon and Marlon Wayans, and even a controversial opinion on ketchup from my husband. The first year of IMO has brought us some truly unforgettable moments. And while these conversations have given us the opportunity to connect with some of our favorite people and share our perspectives with each of you, what I love most about this show is I get to do it with my big brother, Craig.
Oh, you're sweet, Mish.
I am.
This year has been life-changing, and there's no one I would want to have these conversations with than you. To our IMO listeners, thank you for joining us on this journey. I can't wait for what year 2 of IMO will bring.
And make sure you follow IMO wherever you get your podcasts so you can get new episodes as soon as they drop every Wednesday. We can't wait for you to tune in.
And don't forget to subscribe to our newsletter for the latest updates at imopod.com. We hope you enjoy this special bonus episode made up of some of our favorite moments from the first year of IMO.
You know what's funny is I didn't go get my brothers when I got in fights. I would get my sisters.
Yeah.
My sisters was vicious. Devon. Devon, one time, this kid, Baldy Joe, was beating me up, and he was like a 16-year-old kid, and my sister had cornrows. She was about 250 pounds. She said, "Come here." And she grabbed him by his arms like this, and she said, "Marlon, punch him in the face." I was like, "Devon, he gonna beat me." She said, "If you don't punch him, I'm gonna punch you." I was like, "Bow." And, you know, my sisters always have my back in that way.
I didn't get my brother because I saw Keenan get beat up. Not like badly. Like, so Keenan used to walk around in kung fu slippers. Like he was just a Bruce Lee, Jim Kelly phase. And he had nunchucks. He would have and he was really good. He would kick the ceiling. And then one day he got into a fight with this dude, Bobby Boyd, in the building, in the lobby of the building. And Keenan, you know, everybody's like, "Oh, snap," because he was going to do the karate. And then Keenan went to take off his shirt.
Oh, man.
And the dude snatched him with his shirt up over his head and just pummeled him. And Keenan was on the floor.
Oh, no.
And there was blood seeping through his shirt. And I'm like, "Get up, Keenan, use your nunchucks."
Get up, you can do it.
You can do it.
Untangle your arms from your shirt. Oh, no.
This guy you looked up.
Don't get Keenan.
If you do, make sure you take his shirt off upstairs.
Really? It's like, oh, man, that Bruce Lee didn't warn him about that. Don't lock yourself up in your shirt, you know? Oh, man.
Bruce Lee didn't wear pullovers.
You know, when I hear you talk about the practice, what I'll call the practice of no, because you're absolutely right. And I know that everyone struggles with disappointing people, with trying to set boundaries. But I particularly relate to, you know, what you were saying about it takes you a while before you know, maybe as a woman, as a Black woman, where we feel comfortable saying no. And I was sitting here thinking, well, why is that? And why was that for me? Because this is something that I am working on right now. You know, I like you, I have believed in therapy my whole life. You know, done couples therapy with my husband. Both my girls they believe in therapy. This generation, thankfully, I think our children are way more open to it. They understand the importance of self-help and all of that. I also sort of realized that, you know, even Michelle Obama, I am still trying to tell myself that I am doing enough, right? Because there's always that feeling. I think we practice that striving because in order to be successful, I always felt like I had to be smarter, faster, work harder because somebody was going to doubt me. somebody was already telling me why I couldn't do something before they knew me or I even tried. So you get in, and I don't think this is unique to just women of color. I don't think it's just unique to men. But when you get in that habit of that constant striving and constant proving that, it's enough, it makes us overachievers, but you don't ever turn that off. Mm-hmm. And at 60, I had to convince myself that I had done enough. After all that I had done in the world, I still felt a guilt, right? Struggling with like deep guilt that maybe I needed to do a little bit more. So I'm at this stage in life where I have to define my life on my terms for the first time. So what are those terms? And going to therapy just to work all that out. Like, what happened that 8 years that we were in the White House? What did that do to me?
Yes.
Internally, my soul, we made it through. We got out alive. I hope we made the country proud. My girls, thank God, are whole. But what happened to me?
Right.
Right?
Right.
And going through therapy, is getting me to look at the fact that maybe finally I'm good enough, right? And unlearning some of those messages that I've been saying to myself, and then trying to actively practice something different to rewire those neurons in my head that make me keep pushing and keep striving. And so practicing no in a very different way, intentionally. But then this is what makes it hard, because, my decision to skip the inauguration, what people don't realize, or my decision to make choices at the beginning of this year that suited me were met with such ridicule and criticism. Like, people couldn't believe that I was saying no for any other reason, that they had to assume that my marriage was falling apart.
Right.
It's like, while I'm here really trying to own my life and intentionally practice making the choice that was right for me, and it took everything in my power to not do the thing that was right, or that was perceived as right, but do the thing that was right for me. That was a hard thing for me to do. I had to basically trick myself out of it, and it started with not having anything to wear. I mean, I had affirmatively, because I'm always prepared for any funeral, anything. I walk around with the right dress. I travel with clothes just in case something pops off. So I was like, if I'm not going to do this thing, I got to tell my team, I don't even want to have a dress ready.
Yeah.
Right? Because it's so easy to just say, let me do the right thing.
But then you become a shock absorber.
Yeah.
And that's what women are.
Yeah.
Shock absorbers.
Yeah.
And that's exhausting. And it's not healthy.
Yeah.
It is not healthy. You've had to be shock absorbers for your husband, for your children, for your mom, for your family, your loved ones, because of where you were sitting in the public eye. That's not fair to you. When do you ever get to live for you? I applaud you. I'm happy that you are taking care of yourself in the way that you need to.
Yeah.
Thanks to our friends at Shipt for sponsoring this episode. With Shipt's same-day delivery, I never worry about how I'm going to get my shopping done for a few reasons. With Shipt, you can order same-day delivery on everything you need: groceries, decor, gifts, and so much more from many of your favorite stores like Safeway, Albertsons, Michael's, Target, and PetSmart, as well as local favorites exclusive to your area. Shoppers with Shipt are known for their exceptional attention to detail and quality service, so you can rest assured that your items are shopped and delivered with the utmost care. And with an annual Shipt membership, you can place as many Shipt orders as you want, pay $0 in delivery fees with orders over $35. Unlock exclusive deals, and even request your favorite shoppers to shop for your future orders. There's a few items that I am really picky about at the grocery store. I like my sardines, but I want King Oscar sardines only. I don't want any substitutes. Also, I'm a big fan of sliced cheddar cheese, but I want the deli to use the #1 blade. 1.5 is too thick. In addition, I'm particular about my potato chips. So when I use Shipt to get my favorites, I know I'll get what I need. And since you can text one-on-one with your shopper, they can help you get exactly what you need, down to the brand, size, dietary restriction, even the preferred shade of your bananas. And that is extremely important in the Robinson household when we make our shakes. Download the app or order now at shipt.com. That's SHIPT.com.
In my opinion, and this is controversial in my family, you should not eat ketchup after the age of 8.
Is that all condiments or just ketchup?
No,
I
it's
think
just ketchup.
You've gone down in age on that one. You know, I think every time you say it, you make it younger and younger. And pretty soon it'll be like
and I'm
a
hoping
4-year-old.
we don't have a ketchup sponsor on this show.
Well, we won't now.
I have nothing.
And we here at IMO have nothing against ketchup.
I have nothing against kids having ketchup on their burgers, ketchup with their fries, even which is hard for me to watch, ketchup on hot dogs. But at a certain point,
why so young?
You got to kind of outgrow it.
Why are you cutting the people off of ketchup so young, dude? That's what we take issue with in our household.
I might be a little too draconian.
I think that's
my
the
attitude.
word, draconian.
I think
my God.
I'm trying to describe a general point of view, which is ketchup has its place, but
you should grow out of it.
But it sounds like you're saying ketchup is childish.
Nah, what I'm saying is that when I see a grown person pouring a lot of ketchup on something,
is it the amount of ketchup? Is it just ketchup at all?
Is it a lot of ketchup, or even if you have a dollop of ketchup?
Like
I told you this was controversial in my family.
I see,
but I figured I'm coming in here hot.
And now you know that in addition to clicking my teeth along this straw to get on your nerves, I just have a dollop of ketchup.
Ketchup, right?
At every meal, just to be
that explains a lot because there's always ketchup at your house.
Yes.
So it's not
we're battling against
forbidden.
the man.
It's not forbidden.
We are trying to live our lives with ketchup. The freedom for ketchup. He's the only one.
Everybody else is fine with ketchup.
He's the only one.
In fact, the girls have all these complicated, you mix it with this.
It hasn't rubbed off. He's had no
We
impact.
have that in our house too.
There's no one's following his lead.
Okay. That's a tough one, though.
It's never
That's hard.
It's harsh. I think.
It is. It's hard.
It's harsh.
It might have been overly harsh.
I mean, I know.
But every time he says it, the age goes down.
Your mother-in-law likes ketchup.
Everybody likes ketchup.
I used to say it was
the cutoff.
14,
it's like now we're at 8.
Now you got it down to 8.
We've got it down to 8. I'm just thinking that the poor children, that's all. They don't even want the ketchup. Is the
everything
actual?
Else is
it's
the
medium
delivery
to
system.
get. It's the delivery system. Now you're just just taking it. But we appreciate your opinion.
There you go.
I want to get back to, because one thing I didn't ask about child, you were emancipated at 13. Is that?
I've read that.
Yeah. Have you read that about yourself?
You've read that about yourself.
Mm-hmm. Tell us more about. It's not often that
And
you
at 13.
And what led to that? Did you just walk out the door? Did you just say, "Hey, okay, thank you, everyone. I'm gonna take all my books and I'm on my own"?
I don't know how to put this without sounding facetious, but if you came from a Bible reading, believing family, then you already knew I was finna do what Jesus did.
Okay.
Bounce.
Okay.
Now go find a temple to turn over tables. This is the life of a Christian revolutionary.
I got to tell you, you're way ahead of me, because even if I wanted to leave at 13, I wouldn't have had the nerve to do it, nor the wherewithal that I could do it.
It was a terrible idea.
Okay. All right. Here we go.
I don't talk about it because I don't want any young person to hear that and think that it's possible that they can pull it off.
Hearing that it's terrible is useful.
But it wasn't. I just
It wasn't terrible?
No.
Oh,
no, of course not. God. I'm the adventurer in this story. Are you kidding me?
Okay.
Quote me now, sir. I'm grown. Got a mustache and a cigarette. I'm 12. Welcome. That was my life.
I'm picturing a little cat. Did you have the stick in your goods and a little kerchief?
No.
Did you walk out with
I had
a suitcase?
A full suitcase and a Rottweiler puppy. So
you left with the dog?
Destined for failure. Yes.
It's like, and a dependent.
I'm taking a responsibility.
Exactly. It's like, man, and I'll take this puppy. So where'd you go? Where was the first place you and your Rottweiler puppy went when you left your house?
Miami, Florida.
You went to a whole nother state.
That was always the thing.
How'd you get to Miami?
I went to a truck stop.
Oh, the best place to go. Wow.
Because everybody's going out of here.
Mm-hmm.
And so then I checked license plates because I was looking for a warm destination and I was hoping for LA or California, but Miami presented itself and the guy let me and the Rottweiler puppy get in the back part of the empty truck and he would stop every once in a while.
Did you have any money? How'd you feed the Rottweiler?
I was loaded. I must have had $1,200 and you could not have told me that I was
Did
not
you really
a young
have
millionaire.
$1,200?
Oh, yes.
Yes. How'd you get all this money?
So the only thing I was allowed to do, I was allowed to cut grass in the summer and I was allowed to shovel snow in the winter. So I probably had 60 clients on each end.
Okay. You were an entrepreneur.
I own the lawnmower and the shovels. And,
wow.
And so me having money just gave me the ability to not have to wear the clothes that my parents wanted me to wear to school. I could wear that out, go change, get into something fly and presentable for school. And then I was living multiple lives, but the money made it possible for me to have that freedom. And I learned that pretty early on.
What was your alter ego with your money when you went to school? Were you one way at home because you were dressing different and then you took your lawnmower money and went to school in your whatever? Who were you?
I had a relationship with the candy lady. So I was in sales already and I was buying at a wonderful price, upselling and supplying schoolmates with candy.
So you were
and
that
treats,
kid. You were the kid that had the annihilators.
Plus I had money. So I didn't have to, I was able to treat the women that I liked.
Nice.
Really nice.
Nice.
And I learned that supplying happiness to people.
So you were Money Mike early.
Yes, yeah, Money Micah. Yeah. Yeah.
Was that where your character came from? Money Micah? You were practicing that at 13 with your candy
seems like it's
business.
all planned out. But, God showed me early on that there was this pathway and I wasn't really certain of how to make sure that I was on it or behaving
so you
correctly.
get to Miami.
Yep. So we get to Miami.
With your puppy.
Yeah. This trip probably only took us maybe 3 days at the most, maybe 2. It was a really nice ride. But there, so I'm there. And I just had never seen a place so big with so many different neighborhoods and a different culture and ethnicity every 3 blocks. And it was really, really a bit of a culture shock. But I found a place in Coconut Grove at a park, and that's where I made my residence. And it was across the street from a library. And so I would, 8 hours a day, I would be in the library reading. And
so you just camped out?
Literally.
Did you buy a tent with your money?
No, ma'am.
So you're just laying out on the grass with your puppy, a 13-year-old?
No.
And
They
going
had
across the street to the library?
They had a whole little segment of population that this was kind of in the homeless world, this was kind of a gated community.
Yeah.
This park with a marina behind it, so you can't encroach, and it's in Coconut Grove. So I was able to purchase a brand new mattress the first day I was going to have to sleep, so I never slept on the ground or anything. And remember, my clothes are all dress clothes. I only have slacks and white shirts and ties.
Is anybody I'm just trying to picture this.
I can't picture any of this.
And I'm still are you telling the truth or are you joking? Because I'm still trying to picture you. You went and bought a mattress. How'd you get the mattress to the park?
They brought it.
They delivered. Oh, you went to a store and you had them deliver your mattress to the park?
There's a homeless hierarchy in the place that I was at. There was a guy who was in charge of whether or not you got to be there or not. And
how did you convince him that you should be there?
I didn't. I've lived. I have a presence.
Yes, you do.
And I'm one of the people that doesn't have ulterior motives. And most people I found do. Yeah. But even at that age, I didn't have any.
And as far as we're concerned, you're in our family.
I feel that way.
Carol, you really, just sitting here and talking about that path, I don't think that, I know you must hear this all the time, but, we had a happy, beautiful family, right? But your talent, your gifts, the structure of your show, how you showed up in it, like Craig said, your humanity before the show, your honesty throughout your career. That kind of stuff has been as impactful to my development as my parents, right? Because that's the role modeling. You see a smart woman, because what is clear through this is that you've always been that woman. Smart, courageous, bold, and you just brought that to your show. And that came into our living rooms as part of an important experience of seeing what you could be.
You're going to make me cry. Oh, thank you. I'm so touched and moved.
You mean the world to us.
Thank you.
And thank you. You know what I want to do?
What?
I want to sing "It's So Nice."
We had this time
together.
I love it.
Just to have a laugh or sing a song.
Seems
we just get started, and before you know it, comes the time we have to say so long.
Oh,
good night,
all these youngsters
Carol.
have no idea what we're doing.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
I've got chills. We played a summer tournament about 2 hours away. And as I think back, I wish we had considered staying in an Airbnb home instead of staying at a hotel. We would have had an opportunity to eat together, watch film together, as well as control the curfew of a bunch of 13-year-old boys. I also think that it would have given our parents a break from their children. As you can imagine, coming together as a team outside of the game is as important as what you do on the court. And having the ability to hang out together at an Airbnb would have given us that extra opportunity to bond. And if you're thinking about the big tournaments that come into your town, now is a great time to think about hosting fellow fans and players during the season.
As a kid, I was very concerned about stability. And my mom was an amazing person, but she was not very parental. And my dad had died. And I very much wanted to know what was happening. And I used to read my mom's journal. I used to monitor her phone calls when I was a kid.
Wow.
Like, I wanted to know what was coming down the pike.
Yeah.
And I started working when I was 12 to earn money because I was very concerned about, like, my mom's on shaky financial footing. And even though the world probably thought she was super rich, but she, spent a lot of money and had no sense of money. And I knew this from a little kid. And I remember I was actually walking up the stairs one day and my mom was on the phone and she was talking to somebody on the phone. She said, well, I'll always be able to make money. And I stopped and I was like, this ship is going down. If she thinks she's always going to be able to do this, like.
And how old were you when you heard that?
I was like 12.
So you knew?
Yeah, I knew. I knew early on. Yeah.
Are you the oldest?
No, I was the youngest. My brother was 2 years older, but he wasn't as focused on this as much as I was. I was really determined, and I started. I mean, it was ridiculous. I started working as a child model at 12 to
to help the family.
Well, I mean, not that they, I was saving the money because I was like, I'm building a life raft here. But she was remarkable. And, I was always very sympathetic to my mom because she really didn't have parents of her own. She was her dad died when she was an infant. She was raised in hotels in Europe by her mom who just wanted to party. She was the subject of a vicious custody battle when she was 10 years old. It was called the trial of the century in the Depression. And, I kind of saw a sadness behind my mom's eyes her whole life. And I didn't understand what the sadness was from, but I was sympathetic to her. And so even if she wasn't the most kind of mom. She was I viewed her as from the time I was little, I viewed her as like a space alien whose rocket ship had failed and landed here on Earth by accident. And it was my job to help her rent an apartment and learn how to breathe oxygen. Yeah. Basically.
That's a level of worry that most young people.
Yeah, but look who's talking.
I know. I knew she was going to bring that up.
I listened to you and I think about him.
Really?
And he's the oldest. I think you called it catastrophic.
Yeah, I was a catastrophist.
He was a catastrophist at that age in the same way that you were. Really thinking, okay, all the worst possible scenarios.
Yeah, totally.
And I think he felt like the one that had to know it all.
Right.
He was going to be you.
That's interesting.
Like if things fell apart, if our dad could never function, then Craig was the one who was going to make sure.
It's interesting because the title of this book my mom and I wrote together, which ended up being basically our correspondence over the course of the year, was The Rainbow Comes and Goes, which is from a Wordsworth poem. And it was a poem my mom liked. And for her, it meant, well, the rainbow comes and goes. It's always going to come back. And so bright days are just ahead. They're just around the corner. The phone can ring and your whole life can change. And for me, the title was the rainbow comes and it goes.
Right. And it's gone.
The phone can ring and your whole friggin' life can change. I saw it from a negative lens. And she saw it. She could not. It was such an interesting kind of
and you're just
different way of
realistic.
saying stuff. Yes,
you're just trying to be realistic. Just cover all the bases in case something happens.
It's a fine line between realistic and pessimistic. I think.
That's right.
But
I think you two fell on the pessimistic side.
Somewhere in the istic family, but
I realized that parenting is pennies in the bank.
Yeah,
it's that time when you were working and you didn't want to stop, but you did. That made a huge difference to me. Because if I'd have failed, I always felt if I'd have failed with my kids, I would have failed tremendously in life.
I like what you said, that parenting is pennies in the bank. And that just resonates because I think of my upbringing, and I've talked about it a lot. We were poor working class family. My father was a city worker. He did not make a lot of money. He did not have a title. He was not famous. He wouldn't be on a regular schedule. We could go for a week and not see him because he was working a shift. But when he was present in very small but meaningful ways.
That's wonderful. Yeah.
Something as simple, I recall the special treat before dinner, if he was there, or after dinner, was that we get him to play a game.
Yeah.
Any kind of game, a tickle game, a card game. And it just felt like such a treat that this big, important man who had all this responsibility got on the floor and played with us.
Yeah.
He delighted in our presence.
Yeah, that's wonderful.
And what I tell a lot of parents is that a lot of times we work for money and things because, especially if you're poor, you think, well, if I could give my kids more, we could live in a bigger house. If I could put them in the best schools, if I could give them the nicest sneakers, right?
Right.
That is going to replace it. But it's the pennies in the bank that matter. And everybody's got some pennies, you know? Kids don't need the stuff. They just want the pennies, you know?
Very important.
And I think a lot of men lose sight of the fact that a lot of what they're working towards is just their goals and ambition, you know? And I think men should have that. I think everyone, men, women, people have to have their own lives and their own ambitions, but have it and say that's for you. But your kids, they just want pennies.
They want the pennies.
They really do.
They do, yeah.
Yeah, you're never too poor to be a father.
No, to give, time and attention. And, artists, the worst. So self-involved, Oh my God, you get so caught up in your own inner world, because that's where you sought refuge. When things weren't working out, when you were younger, you sought refuge in this inner world.
I think the point you're making is that, it's easy to get lost in the grandeur of your life.
Exactly, of yourself.
Of yourself. And
I had to deal with a lot of the grandeur of myself.
Yeah. Because that's the thing everybody's taught to pursue, It's
so
like,
sad.
that's the brass ring. And that's why parenting is a group sport.
Big time.
And I think Barack is just like you, is a tremendous father, doing it in a lot of grandeur, right? You're the commander-in-chief of the United States of America. And so finding that balance of, when you've got the nuclear code in your grasp and world leaders calling you and big, important, heavy decisions coming at you every day, and valets and aides and on and security, and it's just all grandeur. Trying to wipe all that stuff away and leave it at the door before he would enter the residence of the White House to sit at a dinner table with his two daughters and only talk about them.
Right.
It was important for both of us, for me and Barack, to carve out that time in those 8 years when our girls were in their formative years,
Yeah.
They lived longer, Malia and Sasha, in the White House than they've lived in any house.
That's amazing.
They were formed in that house and around that table in that residence. And it took a mighty effort to leave the grandeur at the door and to just be there and talk about fifth grade.
Yeah.
And,
even in my job, it's like, hey, you're on the road, you're king.
So I remember when I did Akilah and the Bee, everybody kept saying, this movie is going to be a hit. This movie's going to bust it out. You're going to be a star. And it's such an elusive thing, because what's a star? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Right.
And how old were you then?
I was 11.
11.
And they were like, this is huge. And I'm like, wow,
it's like,
this is
you
huge.
really, whatever that is.
I guess I'll be Michael Jackson now. It was like huge. And then the movie came in and did so terrible in the box office.
Mm-hmm. Although that was one of my favorite movies.
And then the funny thing about it is, over time, it grew to be my most popular film.
Yeah.
And the thing that people most know me for. But I use that as an example in this is because our life is made up of many moments.
Mm-hmm.
It's not made, our legacy is not just that one thing we did.
Mm-hmm. Okay,
it's the many, it's the many things that we did. And so Akilah and the Bee was always there for people to come to and remember my work. And it grew over time amongst all the things I did.
Mm-hmm.
But I remember feeling in that moment being like, everybody lied to me. You know what I mean? I felt like when my mom told me I was going to be a big girl at 5, I still didn't get big. I was like, now wait a minute, I'm still
It's like, what is
shorter
this?
than y'all.
It sounds like big girl just means I can't be a baby.
Exactly.
This don't seem right.
How I felt with the Aquila thing. And so, but what I learned and what I never did to myself after that was to expect an outcome, to be proud of the work, to be happy that I got the job or the thing that I wanted to get or but not to make it mean that it is only that if I receive a certain achievement. No, it's that to me. And that has to be enough. So that's the one thing I thought about when that happened.
So that makes me think, I mean, I share this all the time. I mean, I went to Princeton, Harvard Law, because I thought I was going to be a lawyer and a corporate lawyer. I didn't know anything about what a lawyer did. Our family we were not professional people. I picked law because it was the next thing to do. I applied, I got into Harvard. You get into Harvard, you go, right? That was the extent of my thinking.
Yep.
Right? And then I got out, I practiced in a firm for 2 years, and I was like, I don't like this at all. I'm not, because corporate law is about, it's papers and briefs, it's research. It's not very people-oriented, especially in your early years. I had no idea what corporate law was.
Right.
And I had wonderful mentors. People supported me. I was able to achieve and do good things in that year. But I didn't know what that felt like. I did not want to be a lawyer.
Yeah,
as it turns out, after all that education and all those loans. But to your point, it was all them loans that we just paid off before Barack went into the White House.
Okay.
So, I mean, we were carrying debt, for a very long time for me not to be a lawyer. But to your point, I had no idea what that was gonna mean and what that was gonna feel like. It was just a goal that I set for myself. I didn't even know what it was based on.
Yeah.
I didn't know my why. I knew my what, but I didn't know my why. And I could have felt like a failure for it, right? But I didn't. Fortunately, I had parents. I was like, let me try on some other things. Like, to your point, there are chapters in life. That was a chapter. I needed to do that and know that and understand that. And I went on to have many, many chapters. And I'm still glad that I got my law degree. The way I think, how I see the world is very much influenced by that education.
Yes.
But it wasn't who I was supposed to be. And there's no way I would have known that had I not tried it and then moved on from it and tried on some other thing.
Yeah.
So for Noelle, that life is about the chapters. It's never any one thing. And to place too much stock or put too much emotion on one or two achievements, it always sets you up for disappointment.
It's so
because
true.
life is bigger than that. Before we go, I want to hear my song.
Which one? Okay, here it is. It's so good. It's so good. This is the best one. Here it is. And it goes a little bit like this. Now, don't clap because I'll go off rhythm. Because
please.
I've written some
white people.
Because you go. Baby, when the white people chime in on the rhythm, I want you to know something now.
We'll cut that part out. We want to keep our white audience.
Listen, I love my white people. I do. But y'all just, when we start doing things, just sit still. Da-na-na-na-na. Da-na-na-na-na. Now there's Miss Diane Carroll, Lena Horne, and Eartha Kitt. Da-na. They stayed on top for ages, but their looks never quit. Now, when white women get older, their skin gets creased and lined. But because of my race, look at my face. Soft as a baby's behind. Because black don't cry. Dun, 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 dun. I tell you, black don't cry. Dun, 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 dun. Now, Cardi B and Beyonce certainly know how to make a buck, but being sued for fights or on Grammy nights. They don't need no nip and tuck. Da-na-na-na-na. Da-na. Now Harriet's got her railroad. A Sojourner's got her truth. So Kamala Harris and Jasmine Crockett could be a choice at the voting booth. Oprah Winfrey's got her billions, and Michelle's got Obama. And I still look good out in Hollywood playing everybody's mama. I tell you what, don't crack. Oh. So white girls, get your facelifts to your foreheads on your back. 'Cause I'll be having fun out in the sun. 'Cause baby, black don't. Woo! And then Shaka Khan. That's the orchestra going. Shaka Khan. Girl, gotta love it.
The thing is, I stay open.
Mm-hmm.
I'm probably more
way open.
Yes. Oh my God, that sounded so wrong.
I didn't mean that, Mom.
My heart,
your family,
my heart stays open.
Your heart
more open than it should. Yes. Yeah, that was hard.
All right.
More open than it should be. But I do date, and it's a fascinating adventure out there. You know, mostly though, I think there's really good men out there. I think to a certain extent, I'm a very unique sort of unicorn of a woman. And so it's going to take a unique person. And in the meantime, I have really learned how to live my life and enjoy it and not sit around waiting. I was saying to someone recently that I'm one of the first generations of choice, and it's not anymore, which really, there was a window and that has shifted. And I do think that that's going to change dating for women so much.
You would, when you mean you've been the sort of the product of choice.
Yeah, like the assumption of Roe v. Wade and the ability for a woman to find her own delight and pleasure and choice around how she navigates dating or how one would navigate dating. And we're in a different world now. And I'm curious what that will look like. It frightens me for younger girls because of many reasons, obviously. But even with the systemic protection of Roe v. Wade, I still was coming up against the cultural norms of being a choiceful woman and owning my own body and my own choices and what it is that I'm looking for in a relationship and the ability to negotiate in a relationship what it is you want the relationship to be between the two of you, as opposed to what society says it should be.
We could not have Kenan Thompson on this podcast without doing one of my favorite skits, which is Black Jeopardy.
Let's go. Black Jeopardy.
Craig and I have always thought we'd be pretty good at it. It looks a little hard. I'm a little intimidated, but I thought that if you would indulge us, you would give us an opportunity
My pleasure.
to play a couple of rounds.
I love Black Jeopardy. It was one of my favorites. Shout out to Chadwick, because he had the greatest Black Jeopardy episode.
Oh, yeah, he sure did.
Incredible.
Cool.
I think we coined the phrase Karen off of that sketch.
That's Karen. Yeah. What is a Karen?
Yeah. She might put something like raisins or something in the potato salad. Okay. As you know, Black Jeopardy has a bunch of different categories. You know, different ones that like, you know, our categories today might be, you better say it right. Fixing your plate.
Okay.
Don't touch that. Oh, you fancy.
Ooh.
That ain't it. Black Twitter University. Hood classics, Black dads be like, etc., etc.
Okay.
All
right. This is the sibling competition.
Let's go.
Good luck.
Good luck to both of you contestants.
Good luck.
We should hear about today's prizes. We'll do that later. I feel like Cadillac might be involved. All right. Our first category, that ain't it.
That ain't it.
All right. Okay. The question is, a friend who says they don't do seasoning is also what?
Not of colorful pigmentation. What is not of colorful pigmentation?
Not a person of color? That's close. Do you have an answer?
Not invited back to my
house.
Whoa,
that is uninvited.
Uninvited was the answer. All right, the next category, Black Twitter University.
Okay.
What does "she ate and left no crumbs" mean?
It means she told you off and left you with your mouth hanging on the floor.
Yes. We need a ding for the correct answer.
Ding, ding,
That's a good one.
ding,
Yes.
ding, ding.
We would have accepted "she slayed," "she delivered," or "that was flawless."
Okay.
So that you're in
All
that
right,
wheelhouse. Yes.
Next
category.
What's the score?
2-0.
Yeah.
Oh.
Come on, Craig.
Yeah, really.
All right.
What's up, man? Let's lock in.
My buzzer works.
That's a Black Jeopardy. You remember that?
Yes, I know.
All right, this is Hood Classics.
Okay.
Classics,
Hood
okay.
Classics, okay.
This item doubles as a weapon, a shoe, and an expression of discipline.
What is Mama's fluffy pink house shoe?
Ooh, yes. Ding, 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 ding. That's
that was
right.
too specific.
It
Did
was
you
it.
have the answer?
No,
Well,
I was embellishing as I was just going to say.
House slipper,
I
mama
was going to say
sandal,
house slipper.
Okay.
or that flip-flop with precision aim.
Right.
So, yes, we all know that boomerang joke
Yeah,
from the great Eddie Murphy. Incredible. All right. Black dads be like.
Ooh.
What does your dad say every time he walks past the thermostat?
What is, we ain't trying to cool down the whole neighborhood.
You got one?
I do.
Mm-hmm.
What is nobody should be touching this who ain't paying rent?
Close. Both of those are very close. We have, why do it feel like the tropics in here? Y'all paying the light bill? Or touch it again and see what happens.
Oh,
so,
yes.
It was close.
Yeah, close.
We'll split it
was
between
good.
the two of you.
All right.
Okay.
So what is it, 2-1, 3-1?
It's 2.5 or 1.5.
2.5, 1.5.
Okay.
That's close. Come
All
on.
right.
Okay,
All right.
okay.
All right, church folks.
Okay.
If someone shouts, "Take your time, Pastor," they probably mean what?
They probably mean hurry up so I can get to the repast and have some fried chicken.
That's right. Boy, y'all so specific with it.
Ding, ding, ding.
Jeez.
Get to the repast and have some fried chicken.
Repast. That's usually at a funeral.
Yes.
I know, but it's a sermon.
Unacceptable
Right.
answers was wrap it up, we hungry, and you dragging it. Mama said,
Mama
is the category. Mama said, if she uses your full government name, including the middle one, what does that mean? Oh, I think Michelle was first.
You about to get your butt whooped.
You about to get it. That is the answer. Let's go. Craig, where you at, man?
I'm right here. I'm right here.
Your
This
hand
game's
is
not
too
over.
far away. You
Yeah, I know.
you
Put
need
your
a
hand
better.
above.
You got to be
That's what I'm
closer
saying.
to
I
the
gotta
button.
get a
Closer.
question before if
But that's
because I might
Yeah, you
press
gotta be
it
in
too
the way.
quick.
Okay.
Just
okay.
hover right above.
Okay.
And
All
then
right.
but then
I'm
yeah.
gonna
Then
press
he's
it
gonna
before
lose.
the question.
All right. No.
Category. You better say it right.
Better say it right.
When a Black auntie says, "Bless her heart," what does she mean?
What is she's doing something wrong?
You got a better one?
What is, you have no talent at whatever it is you're trying to do.
Y'all being nice. We would have accepted she being shady, that girl is struggling, or she a mess.
Yeah,
So
she a mess.
nobody got
She
that
a
one.
mess.
Yeah, we were
All right,
trying
y'all
to be
stay
too nice.
nice.
We tried to be too
All
nice
right.
on that one.
This next category is fixing your plate.
Ooh.
Ooh.
Where's your mama's potato salad recipe stored? That's you, Craig.
What is in the middle of the Gideon Bible?
Go ahead.
She don't write the recipe down. She knows it in her head.
Ding, 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 ding,
That's
ding.
a good one.
Come on, man.
That was a good one, Misha.
That was cold. That was close, though. That Gideon. You got to keep that Gideon close.
You got to keep it close.
All right, next category. Oh, you fancy.
Okay.
She got on hoops, a side part, and baby hairs laid. What does that mean?
Who got that?
I think it was Craig.
Okay.
What is Mama's going out tonight?
Close. You got one, Michelle?
What does that mean? It just means it's a Tuesday.
That means she bad her business. Yeah. She not playing. She mean business, and don't try her. That's basically what y'all said. Give them both a point. All right, this next category, there's only 2 more. So
okay.
We got a chance to catch up. Don't touch that is the category. When your mama says she watching her stories, what is she referring to? Oh.
Go ahead.
I think that's you.
What is All My Children, Ryan's Hope, One Life to Live?
That's right.
Any of the daytime soaps.
That's right.
What is General Hospital at our house?
General Hospital.
Well, no, he doesn't get that.
Soap operas. Yeah, no. You got that. Yeah, come on now.
Yeah,
General
that was a
Hospital.
good one. That was a good one.
That was a good one. This is a bonus question, so it should be worth, what's the score?
We got 5.5 to 1.5.
Oh, man.
So this one's worth 4.
It's got to be worth 20 points.
5 points,
For a
right?
tie.
So somebody can win. 5 points would be 6.
Yeah, that's right.
Four
Would be the
points
win.
would be 5.
Yeah.
Yeah, that 5 points would be the So this is a 5-pointer. Okay.
I'm nervous.
The category is the Obamas be Obamas. Question. Barack hit you with the, now let me be clear. What's coming next? Michelle.
A 20-minute answer to a question.
100%. A whole ass TED Talk.
Listen. Listen.
But that's because they married. That ain't fair for you. You don't spend that much time
I didn't
with
make
him.
up the question.
Well, I think we got a champion.
I mean,
I think your flaw, you were too laid up off the buzzer, you know?
No, it wasn't the quickness. It was my answers, which I
But
was
wasn't
trying to
that
be
a
too
nice
creative.
stroll down Black memory lane?
It was lovely.
That was really fun.
It
That
was
was
lovely.
fun.
Old
Potato
aunties and their
salad,
Bibles.
the baby hair.
Yeah, baby hair.
You know.
I love it. Shout out to the coach.